There we go. We're on live. We'll just make some bare worthless chat for the chit chat for the minute until we can get into introductions and get some people in here. Okay. So there we go. I've got that there. Hopefully we can get everybody to see what's going on. So I do appreciate you all joining me. I know this was pretty sudden. I just threw this out there and said, "Hey, let's give this a shot. Let's have a little nice discussion before the other discussion comes, and hope that it's all nice." Okay.
Well, before we get too far underway, what channel are we on here?
This would be Captain Frugal.
Captain Frugal. That's how I'll find it on YouTube. Okay.
Yep, that would be it. If you can find me.
I'm going to look. I'm definitely going to look.
Yeah,
Captain Frugal, you're right there. 2,039 subscribers.
Okay. I got over 2,000. Okay. It was up higher than I thought it was.
Now you're 2,040.
Oh, okay. Even better. I won't complain about that.
And you got 10 watching right now. So have a look and see what's going on in your chat room here.
Good, because I can't see it yet for some reason.
Well, here, I'll handle that department for a little bit. We got Joshua in the chat. He says late. We got Del Wolf North saying, hey, peeps. We got Warren JB. He says, let's see, Nasser or Captain Frugal? Nasser or Captain Frugal? I choose Captain Frugal stream to rant and whine on. Epic. Joshua says, I haven't been on a CG live stream in months. Del Wolf North says, got to respect the CGs, OGs. I'm certainly not an OG at all. I'm a new G. Joshua says, seems fitting I come back into one of the first hosts I've watched. So big shout out to you there. You're one of the first he's checked out. Warren JB says, I haven't been on anything else in months. Better than the TV. One slick dude says, hey all, and we have Maverick MX saying hello to everyone. Now we are caught up.
Okay.
So hello to you all.
Hey guys.
All right. Can you still hear me all good?
Oh yeah, man.
Okay, good. Great. That's good because my page finally came up with that. So yeah, I'd like to say thank you for all the people watching. I will warn you guys, the Frugal Force, as I call them, are an absolute wonderful community of people. I mean, this is a good group.
Well, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, they really are. There's something different. I tell you, my whole channel is completely based on them and them backing me. They've done nothing but help me. Like all the artwork and everything I use is completely from them. This is all them.
That's fantastic. You gotta love it when you have fans like that just want to see you succeed, so they help out in any way they can.
Right. I don't even like calling them fans. I like just calling them community because we chat together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I view my fans the same way. I enjoy talking to them. They're more like friends.
Mm-hmm.
And they're welcome to tell me off if they like. I don't get mad or upset at them. I love them to death, all of them, every single one of them, because they help me achieve my goals.
Yeah, if you're not on good terms with your audience, what the fuck are you doing? Cough, cough, Medicare. I cough.
And speaking of which, let's do some introductions of who is on here, because I have some guests here that I've never had this pleasure of having on before. So it's so nice to have you. If you want to introduce yourself, plug your channel, I'm going to put your info in the info bar too as we go.
Who wants to be first?
You spoke first. You go first.
All right, so I'm LP. I'm the writer and creator of Niobe and another book called Avani, which we're going to launch next month. Just to give you the brief rundown of what Niobe is, she's a Japanese pop star with the ability to teleport, finds out that her powers are slowly killing her on the cellular level, and now has to decide when to leap into action, when it's appropriate for her to put her body and her life at risk. That's the brief elevator pitch. Avani is the villain from Niobe #2. We've done 4 issues so far. And she was kind of the breakout star. People kind of like the anti-hero villain sort of type. So she's getting her own spin-off book. And we're very excited to get all that rolling really, really soon.
And if you want to check that out, once again, the link is right now in the chat. And I will put it in the info bar later.
Yeah, and my channel is Niobe Comic. And you can find me there.
And how about you, Andrew? You want to introduce yourself? I can't speak all of a sudden.
Yes. My name is Andrew Anderson. I am a comic book creator. I wrote Gears and Bones at Guardian Knight Comics. And we've got a new campaign going on right now called The Knox. Every $250 we raise, someone's going to get a free sketch, one of the lucky backers. It's about a bunch of Vietnam veterans who try to break into Fort Knox and steal back what is owed to them.
You said my favorite price, free.
Yeah.
Free is good.
If you're one of the backers and you push this over, every $250 we give away a free sketch. It's whatever you want. Ron will draw it.
Nice.
Excellent.
We've given away 5 sketches already.
Great. And how about you, Dalton?
Hi guys, I'm Dalton Mortimer. I'm the Authenticator. My channel is the Authenticator. We have basically, on my channel, we have basically 3 kinds of shows. One is a series of audio-only rants, which I call Storm Before the Calm rants. Another is a series where I look at fantasy and supernatural-based media through a magical and occult perspective, which I call A Mystic's Vlogs. And the third, which I haven't technically released yet, is a series where I kind of experiment with the form and find new things to do, which I call Interrupted Between the Reels. You can follow me on Twitter at The Authenticator, which is spelled without a U, and you can follow me just about everywhere else at The Authenticator, spelled properly.
Now, we should also, by the way, thank you. We should also have Engeltine on soon. He's popped out, had to pop back in. Hopefully he'll be in soon. And looks like we have somebody else that's popped in here. And who else do we have here now?
Hey guys, it's Chael Roberts.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Do you want to introduce yourself to the group that's watching?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I actually know, I think Niobe Comics is in here.
Oh, yeah.
Correct?
Me and Shell, good guy. We talked a few times. How's it going, brother?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
All right. So I'm the writer-creator of Guardians of Erloth. That's on Indiegogo currently. And I'm part of the Caution Zone group.
Oh, okay. Excellent. If you don't mind, if you want, go ahead and in the group chat section here, you go ahead and send me your link so I can throw it out there in the chat, and I will later on put it in the info bar down below as well.
Certainly. Thank you.
I should put my channel link in there as well, Wilbur.
Absolutely. Let's pump all those things up. So everyone, welcome. So you know, boy, has there been a lot of drama today and lately. So I'm going to try to keep this a little bit soft-hearted. This is the pre-show, right? We're the kind of, I'm hoping the actual debate with EVS on Rakita Law's channel with Unranked Chevron and Engeltine from I Love Comics will turn out to be a nice, good discussion, just a sharing of ideas and coming together. Yes, I know I am overly quixotic here. Way too much optimism, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys, and if you don't mind, what does ComicGate mean to you?
I guess I'll start with that question. ComicGate for me is all about the consumer. It doesn't matter what I want. What matters is if I have a product that they want. And so we've been hard at work creating something that I think people would want because it's something I would personally want. And so we're doing it that way. And it's all about the consumers. It's all about treating them fairly. I saw how they were getting treated by the Marvel pros and all that. And then I had never interacted with any of these pros. And all of a sudden I was blocked. And I had no answer to why I was blocked.
So you were guilty by association then, based on who you followed, correct?
I guess. I have no idea. I don't block anybody. I talk to everybody I can. I am an advocate for free speech. Now, if something too far is said, I will distance myself from that. But as far as they have the right to say whatever they want, I have the right to say whatever I want.
Now, I will say, looking at your Indiegogo page, the Knox, I read your overview, and that's a sell point rate for me. It's like Ocean's 11 and the A Team. I would love the A Team.
Yeah, those are two of the biggest influences on it. I think I wanted to do a war comic, but I wanted to make it fun and sexy and cool. And so what's sexier and more cool than the A Team?
Now I notice right now it's in black and white. Is the interior pages? Is it going to all be? Is it going to be in black and white, or is it going to get colored later?
It depends on if we meet our goal or not.
Okay. Maybe we'll be able to get a little time to talk about that. So next, who else would like to tackle that topic? What is ComicGate to you?
I have a slight different take on ComicGate. For me, it's always been about principles and meritocracy, and on a secondary level, saving the characters that we love from getting fucked with and postmodern out of basically any worth. Yes, I agree that it should be focused on the consumer, but to me, that's secondary to the principle of nobody's ideology comes before artistic merit and artistic worth. Nobody comes before art.
But isn't that what the customer wants?
Yes, but I'm all about structures and priorities, and for me, art comes first, the people that like the art come second, and the creators come third.
If the art comes first and you're just putting it out there, it's not, how do I put it? It's like this. All right, you put the art out there and you go through and you don't do any compromise. You don't listen to your editor at all. You don't listen to what the fans want, and you create this piece of art like what Marvel is doing, then you're not listening to your fans. Your fans want you to do stuff without agendas, correct?
No, what Marvel is doing is putting ideology before art. Art should have its own worth and its own merit, and people will naturally respond to that. In my view, that's what makes people drawn to art in the first place. What you often forget is that very often you don't have access to what your customers want before you make the thing because you don't have ideal customers to ask. So what you should be putting first is the art, the idea, and then if you build it well and build it properly, they will come, as it were.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Look at that. We're getting nice agreements already.
I mean, that's what we did on the Nox. Ron and I have spent almost 2 years on this before we even launched.
And all the more power to you for it.
So,
I mean, that says a lot. You're putting 2 years of your life into a project. I mean, you really think about that with no knowledge of what the outcome will be. That's pretty darn impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it was 2 years of writing with Ron and with one of our editors, developing the story and getting it to a place where we felt it was ready for the consumer.
So, anybody else want to take a stab at what is ComicGate to you?
I'll take a stab at it. I'll at least give you my brief history on how I came around to all this. Back in like 2013 is when I started my endeavor to do Niobe. And this was before, I got into Twitter and before I heard of what an SJW was or what ComicGate was. All I knew is that there was a big time movement happening that I didn't like. I started, because I'm a guy who likes sexy covers. I love pinup art, heavy metal magazine, fantasy art, that sort of stuff. I collected like Darkchild, Witchblade, Dawn from Joseph Michael Linzer, all those sorts of things. And so I wanted my book to be a throwback to like the 90s bad girl. And then I started seeing artists that I really like starting to have their work censored. Guys like Frank Cho, guys like Milo Manera, etc. I remember once, there was this preview for Inferno Secret Wars Marvel. It had the Goblin Queen, Madeline Pryor, and she was wearing her classic sexy black outfit with the breasts that you see under and kind of covered on top. Then there was this outcry of people saying that was too sexist. My war has always been with hardcore feminists who always attack me, calling me a misogynist or sexist because of her covers. And I said, this is how she's supposed to look. And then that made it all the way into the preview magazine. So that passed, editors' eyes. It made it to solicitation. It was being advertised. And then after that outcry, what had happened was Marvel basically took a black marker and drew over the skin. And I said, this is wrong. And then I got attacked every way from Sunday on that. And I only had very few professionals come up and defend me because I had some professionals on my page. And that was my first notice of something's going wrong here. When you start censoring art, I start having a problem. Then as time went on, I've noticed more and more things being injected into the entertainment I watch, or characters that I come to love for, eons. are being changed. And I just seen this growth. And then I discovered ComicGate. And the way ComicGate was brought to me was actually by a Marvel artist who lives here in my city, who painted a very bad light on ComicGate. Okay, like he told me that it was a hate group, it was evil, it was led by your boy Zach, and Zach was physically assaulted people at cons. He just had this whole rhetoric. And I'm like, okay, this sounds really, really bad. What the hell is going on? And I need to learn more. So I started watching diversity in comics. I started watching, well, Captain Cummings I had known long before him, before he even got famous. But started watching him again, started watching Ethan Van Sciver. And after about 3 or 4 months of just really watching and listening, I come to realize one thing. A, I was thinking the same thing these guys have been thinking for a long, long time now, before I even knew there was a movement. And B, they're not evil. They're not Nazis. They're not incels. They're just guys that have a different opinion, and that's okay. And that is cool with me.
You know, I like that you mentioned people have different opinions. That's one of the things we're doing right now. We're just sharing our views, how we got into it, and what we think it is. And Angleton is here now, correct?
Well, yeah, but for a year, we've known each other almost 2 years. You know that?
Wow.
You mean, yeah, it's been about 2 years you and I have met. So it's about time that you learned it's Angleton.
Now, you know I can't talk. Is there a single name I have ever gotten right? Matter of fact, I even mentioned that in one of my videos today. I did a Hulk review of the Immortal Hulk #8, and it's like, I think this is the first time I've ever gotten names pronounced right.
That is funny though. I'm sorry, man. I had to take the piss there. Because it's funny because for the last 2 years it's been Angleton, and yeah. How you doing?
I can pronounce my own kid's name.
What are they? American Dream and Little Frugal, right?
Yeah. You said it better than I can.
Yeah. If you don't mind me, allow me to address something. For some reason, I am now on my I Love Comics, what do you call it, profile on Google. But for some reason, it still has me down for Johnny Come Lately, which was where I put Mad About the Mouse, because I don't know how to computer at all.
I might be able to help you with that.
Because I literally have a profile that says Mad About the Mouse, but I can't get that one. I fucked up so bad.
Sure. So Google is very tricky.
Sorry, Frugs.
It's all okay. As I said, be you.
Are you in Google Chrome as your browser?
Yeah.
Okay. So in Google Chrome, on the top right-hand corner, you're going to see your little icon. And right above it, you're going to see a second icon that should look somewhat the same, or probably the actual account you're signed into. There's going to be 3 dots to the left of that, or sorry, to the right of that. If you hit that, you should be able to sign out from there. And then sign in with the correct account.
Well, it says new tab, history, downloads, bookmarks, Asian porn, print, cast, font, more Asian porn settings, help.
Drink.
And drink, yeah.
If I could screen share, I would show you, but it never works for me on Windows 10 for some reason.
Yeah, it's weird.
I do want to say we have somebody else too that's popped in, Slick Jimmy, right?
How you guys doing?
Good. We're just talking about ComicGate. I want to throw Angleton up next. Sorry, once again the name.
What is throw Angleton under the bus?
Yeah. Well, I'm asking everybody this. What is ComicGate to you? What does it mean to you?
Indiegogo, man. It is Indiegogo. No, this is. We jumped in on this. It was a whole bunch of like-minded people who were tired of the identity politics that's showing up, of course, in all forms of entertainment, but in particular, comics. And we want great characters. You want to put Riri Williams in a book, put her in a book. Just call her Ironheart and write her well. You want get a gay character, but write that character well. You know, make sure that the message that you have comes after the story, not make the message the story. That was what we were looking for. It was just a whole bunch of people, and it was a community. And that was the real thing. That was what really made ComicGate something. It was like-minded people. They just came together and enjoyed sharing what was good. Of course, pissing around and bitching about what was bad. But in all honesty, it was just about that sense of community.
Okay. And then how about you, Slick Jimmy? Do you mind me asking you that question as well, since you just popped in? What is ComicGate to you? And maybe even how do you sort of got into it, or if you are a part of it, however you want to call it.
Well, you know, people ask that. Seems like a kind of a purity test with some people.
Well, I don't mean that at all in any way here.
And
That's
I'm not. Again, it's not bothering me too much when people ask me. I'm ComicGate adjacent. I believe in all the. I'm not saying rhetoric, but the standards, the ethics that are behind the movement. When it comes down to the reason I got into it, when I saw Cap say "Hail Hydra," you know, I was just a kind of infrequent buyer, and I'd look for stuff I really liked, and usually they end up like in trades and graphic novels, but like floppies, it was infrequent. I had a few titles I kept on a pull, and I just kept with those. And I used to, as a kid, I was like a big Captain America fan. Like, and he was one of the go-to guys, as well as like Spider-Man. And I wasn't really paying attention all that much to what was happening at Marvel. And I was a Marvel guy. I never was a DC dude, except for like Lobo and Batman to some extent. And all of a sudden, I looked into it when I saw that this article come up, where Cap says "Hail Hydra," and I was like, "What?" And I looked, and all this stuff about it's serious. This is true. This is how they're retconning the whole damn thing, and I just got pissed off. And it's just comics, but it's like somebody took a piece out of my childhood and like stabbed me with it. And I got mad and I started listening to people on YouTube because I wanted to find out what people were talking about. And strangely enough, I went to like Comic Storian and the other cat that does like explain
Comics Explained.
Comics Explained.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Comics Explained. It tells you how much I listened to him real quick. I was just like, whatever. I wanted to hear what were the intricacies of people who cared about comics. And you might say I don't care about comics because I let it slide a little bit, but what I cared about, I really cared about. You know what I mean? And when it came around this way, I looked at it and I found DNC and Captain Cummings and Englandine. I found you.
Well, thank you for the
I have a hard time calling you any. Well, the thing is like you guys were talking about it. You were discussing the issues, and I knew what was behind once they kind of described some stuff. What was behind the cultural shift in comics and what comics actually mean to our culture. There is a significance to comics in culture, especially now as it's been embraced by mass media. You're taking away our mythology. Mm-hmm. And without our mythology, without our icons, we can go with religion as well. But I mean, this is our mythology that we've created for ourselves in the last century that kind of define what the American nature should be. And now they're just playing with it. They're causing it to be bastardized, and it got me riled up. And at one point, I was looking into Marvel, seeing what I could find, and I found a few things, and I put some stuff on my poll. But then as I just watched it go, I just got madder and madder and madder, and I just deleted. The guy who loved Marvel as a kid and as a teenager and as a 20-something and up into my 30s, I just stopped. And I said, I've got to do something. I'm a creative guy. I've been in a creative field. And I have been a writer just as an avocation. And I had this idea that I've been working on for about 2 decades. And I'd been working with an artist with illustrations for my book. And I said, well, let's do like a comic. And because I saw that there was a desire for it out there. And I wanted to tell my story. And apparently people like it at least enough to, put a little bit of money down on it. And that's what I think it's about. The consumer and also the creators that are out there saying enough of this crap, let's do our own thing. That's ComicGate. I don't even like the name, but
nobody does.
I like the sentiment. You know what I mean? There you go. I'm sorry that was a long ramble, but
that's okay, man.
This is an open platform. That's what it is. I want to just share what it means to. This is a lighthearted stream here. We're building bridges.
Ramble on, Jimmy. Ramble on.
Well, the thing is, I'm a nice guy online. If you have encountered me on Twitter, I don't go after people. All right, I have really strong, passionate, stances, but I'm trying to be kind to even the people on the other side who are throwing Molotovs.
Mhm.
And then I'm trying to be kind to the people within the movement that seem to be kind of wrangling right now. I don't want to be one of those people that is partisan. I don't want to cause an internecine fight amongst people who just want to be creative. And I feel sad about that whole thing that's going on right now. But I also feel sad about the indie sphere in general. There's this massive divide, and there's other people on the other side who I don't think that they're monsters. I just think that they're misguided by indoctrination of some really messed up ideas. So
Sure. And that seems to be a lot of common themes here, even though we all have different takes, and I like that. And by the way, just for the record, I have no connection to Captain America, of course. That didn't bother me.
Here's the thing. Everybody knows who you are, all right? Within the set, everybody knows who you are. And you kind of embody the ideals of Captain America. You've embraced them. And that's a cool thing. You're keeping it alive, because Marvel sure is, deteriorating that.
Oh, ain't they ever? I cannot. I don't look forward to reading Captain America. I cannot believe I say that.
I'll tell you this, and this is really sad. This is incredibly sad, what I'm going to tell you guys. So get the hankies out. Ta-Nehisi Coates' run on Captain America is about 100 times better than Mark Waid's.
Well, I will say it's better written, Mark Waid's. Absolutely.
It is.
There's a lot of undertones of crap in that book.
And one thing, that wasn't a very high bar to jump.
I know, but it had to be said. I actually have been reading. Wow, hold on. Captain America has improved, but look what it came after.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mark Waid jumped to screwing with my favorite Marvel character, the master of the goddamn mystic arts.
But yeah, and that. But here's the thing about Mark Waid: he left Champions, and Champions got better.
Well,
I think he's living on his laurels. I mean, and I think that among writers, if you've ever studied them, a lot of them do hit kind of a wall, and their creativity abandons them, or the sharpness of their clarity just goes away, and you'll see it in later in their lives, these ones that lose it, and it's kind of sad, because the glory days have gone. Some don't, though. Some go right up to their death, and they're just sharp as a tack. But
it seems like Mark has decided that with everything, he's going to put message before the story.
Yeah, it's all about message. At least Ta-Nehisi Coates, there's a story there, but boy, does it have lots of undertones that piss me off. One other thing, too, real quick from the chat. Robert Willing asked me, he said, "Hey, could you give me my upcoming stream a shout out? It starts at 10 Eastern. He's still considering myself outside of ComicGate," he said, "but a believer in the message. My stream will be about comics for your information." So that's Robert Willing at 10 o'clock Eastern.
Sorry,
that's right.
guys, what I miss. That's the last time I ate Taco Bell for lunch.
It's the sad thing is I mentioned to Rob I would love to be on that. He's on at 10, right? God damn it. I'm going to be damn fucking tired if I do this.
Yeah, because you got your stream. Well, you're on the Rakita stream tonight.
I'm on the debate tonight.
And that's 10 Eastern, right?
I'm doing this. Yeah, that's what is he's central. He said it's 11 o'clock Central Time.
Right. So that's 10 Eastern, I think.
No, we're ahead. So it would be like 12. Yeah.
I have a question, and I got to ask this because I'm seeing a lot of this debate and this talk of drama, but I only know maybe like a quarter or half the story from Lucky, and I want to ask the man who's going on the debate tonight what is going on.
Well, apparently there was a knife fight between. I'm just kidding. Okay, so
interesting.
The whole thing, from what I've been getting, because I get DMs so much. You remember I would talk about this in the beginning with DNC. You remember this, Friggs?
Absolutely.
For some reason, whenever anybody has a problem with people, I guess, who have more subs and everything, I get a lot of DMs. And I found out I'm not the only one this time that have been getting, we don't like the direction it's going. It can't be all about make money, make money, make money. And I said, well, the central focus of ComicGate is never about making money. That's not to begrudge. I mean, hey, Slick, make all the money you can, but that's not the central focus of ComicGate. The ComicGate has always been a consumer movement. Get respect for the customers, get identity politics out of the and politics
addressing me?
not out of the comics, but at least, like I said, put story first. Because come on, guys, politics have always been in comics, but story has always been the central driving force, and until say about 2013. And
I'm going to interrupt you right there.
A lot of people, hold on just a sec, let me finish my rant here. And so recently we've been getting deluged with all these messages about the fact that it has just become a cash grab. And, you know, with what happened with Ethan declaring that he owns ComicGate, that he's the de facto leader, or he is the leader of ComicGate, that really ired people. Now, Unranked Chef, I was going to make a video about it because I was reading this all over the freaking place. But Unranked Chevron did the perfect video, so there's no sense in it. So I went on and I did a live stream about it, and apparently some people are unhappy and want to talk about it, because I did too. There were so many people the first night that wanted to in on it, so I had to do a second one. And in all honesty, I'm getting requests to be on a third. Okay. So people could voice their concerns about what's going on with the movements.
And I want to make this clear before your debate happens too, or anybody listening to this. There's no animosity between any of you.
No, I'm not like, oh, fuck Ethan Van Sciver. I'm not mad at him. I don't even begrudge him trying to make money and use it. But saying that, going on the Clavin show and saying that the central focus of ComicGate is to make money, that kind of dude, no, that's not what it is.
But for creators, it is.
But no, it is not the central.
We're trying to give you a product.
By all means, come on in.
Substitute
what you need to do. But it's not the central focus of ComicGate.
It hurts little guys.
Englentine, were you addressing me when you said slick, or was that just an general thing?
No, actually, yeah, because you mentioned that you had a comic book. I don't begrudge anybody's success. Go on ahead, but that's just not the central focus. And what's worse is it's putting a wall.
I'm not saying it's putting a wall, but
guys, we got to talk one at a time so we don't talk over each other. Okay?
When you do when you're seeking money, all right, for a project, money is only a means to an end for me. Like if I were independently wealthy, it wouldn't be an issue. I wouldn't have to do that. You know, but the thing is I'm not. I have a day job. I have a family. And then I need a little bit of extra. And I'm not asking. Like I would love to be able to put out a book at $4.99, you know, $5, and just say here's a floppy. But I can't do that. I wish I could do it, but I can't because of
Guardians of Earth.
And so what I'm saying is that I'm not seeking money. That's not my only thing, because I enjoy the interplay with the people who like what I'm putting out there. I get how it looks from the outside, that every time somebody puts another book up, it seems like somebody's going for a cash grab. And, you know, in a way, I guess you could say that is, because the only way you can produce something is to get some cash. But it's not necessarily like you can take the money and run.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
The cash grab and making money is not the same. There's not the same definition.
No, there's a difference. I make comics because I love making comics. Yes, I'm going to sell my comics, and yes, I'm going to crowdfund for my comics. But I have no false illusions. I'm going to get rich ever doing this. I probably lost more money than I've made. You know, but I still.
I have to excuse myself. I've lost my family. I'm getting calls from my family, so I'm going to step away. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
You know what? This is a good segue. Mr. E came in. You haven't got to say hello, so you want to introduce yourself here and tell us what ComicGate is to you?
Hey, everybody. I'm Mr. E1299, and ComicGate to me has always been about trying to make our disinterest in the current direction of comics known, to try and convince the collective heads at Marvel and DC to return the characters that we love to a quality of storytelling that, you know, we got from like the 80s and the 70s and like the early to mid 2000s, and let them know that we don't mind stories that are political, but the heavy-handed message and the clear bias you're showing in them, it's not leading to good storytelling. And the fact that we're not buying these comics because we don't like them, but we want to be able to buy them. We want to be able to read stories about Captain America or, you know, Iron Man, Thor, you know, Superman, Green Lantern, whatever. And just let them know that we would gladly buy these books if the quality was higher. But, you know, since I believe that since the a lot of the comic book pros have been, you know, so very hostile to us, it's kind of moved from we just want our characters to be good again to kind of raising a middle finger to the pros. And after that, it moves to, okay, since you aren't going to write stories that we like, we're going to write our own. But which is, there's nothing wrong with you know, writing your own stories, putting out your own books. But I think from there it's kind of devolved into, okay, ComicGate is about raising money for books exclusively, and we've kind of lost the core point where we want these characters that have meant a lot to us back. And, you know, I think it's also started to become kind of cliquey to a point where a lot of these people who are, you know, have big subscriber counts or who are putting out books making a lot of money don't really consider you know, guys like me who have lower counts or who aren't putting out books right now. They've kind of, I don't like to use this word, but they have started to gatekeep in a kind of way. And, you know, I really think that it's just kind of a shitty thing to do because it alienates people, and that's the last thing that we should be about.
Well, you do have to gatekeep in a sense. You don't want a bunch of subpar product coming out there. And the gatekeeping is actually the market dictating itself. I mean, that's why it took me 2 years to get the Knox to a point where we could crowdfund it. For me, it's not about the money. It's getting the book out there. The money is to get the book into your hands and for you guys to have it. You know, I have a day job. I'm going to be just fine. But I'm going to
specifically, but if the market truly is what decides, then why do you need to gatekeep it all?
Because you still have to have a quality of level, a quality of consistency.
Like, you are not responsible for the quality of somebody else's book.
It's the same thing with film. Everybody has a camera now. Anyone can go out there and make a movie, right? Can all those movies get put on the big screen?
You know, the buyer's going to decide.
It's the exact same thing.
I don't think so.
It is because anybody can make a comic right now, just like
you're seeing it just from the perspective of an artist, though. You're not seeing it from the perspective of someone who adopts ComicGate as a point of principle.
Well, see, there's a difference. There's a disconnect right there, and that might be part of the problem. See, we're seeing it from different perspectives. You know, for example, my perspective is a lot different from a lot of us here as well. So, for example, for me, what ComicGate was is I would get into chat rooms and things like that, like much like Douglas Ernst would too as well. And the moderators would silence us. They would mute us. They would delete our comments, especially if we were right or proving somebody wrong, that they, you know, would make an artist or a writer look bad. And they would ban us for fake reasons and things. And what then happened is I think we took to getting onto starting our own web pages, you know, with like live journals and types of things like that to spread our message. And that did pretty well. But then YouTube opened up. And as we started doing this, we started realizing we weren't alone. There was more of us, you know, because before when you were just silenced and muted, you didn't see it as much as these other people. Maybe it is just me. But then we started getting together and realized, holy cow, this happens. And then I looked into it more too and seen it's comic book website after website. The reviews were bull crap because if it wasn't a good book, they would just stop reviewing it rather than admitting that it was a piece of crap book. And as a matter of fact, I even contacted one of them and talked at the top. I said, hey, what's going on with this and the treatment of the consumers and how their interactions are? And they told me flat up, we give the pros extra rope because they're what brings the clicks. So if we have to shut you guys down, that's just too bad. And So then, you know, we got together, we started making videos, and it started getting known. And that's what I think what ComicGate began is people having a voice, at least to me. So I can see there's a disconnect between the consumer sometimes as well as the artist, but yet we still have things that we connect on. Like we all want a good product. I think that's the standard issue right there. We want a good product that's not shoving things down our throat. Is that a fair assessment, you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would agree with that assessment. Whether I'm part of ComicGate or any other movement, you know, my job as a comic book writer is to produce the best Niobe stories I can. I think having a movement like this is great, but I'm going to function with or without it. And that's just, you know, how it goes. I always looked at ComicGate initially as a group of outlaws who had a different way of doing things, and now it's grown into this kind of almost mainstream thing where now, you know, the more people that get involved, the more opinions you're going to get. And I think that's what we're crossing into right now.
With the creation of books, I'm going to put it from my perspective, because basically that I can try to empathize with what you're saying. However, there is this one thing, and when we talk about market, it's like this. We have there are good books, there are great books, and then there are books that might need some help. All right. And I'm putting that diplomatically. If you have if you just take everybody in and you don't discriminate, I mean, even in life, we're constantly discriminating, and I mean, that's become a dirty word, but it's not a bad word to have some judgment about things.
Absolutely.
I cannot control what other people do on their platforms. They are going to discriminate as they discriminate. And I cannot be mad at them because maybe they don't like what I'm putting forth, because I got a pretty controversial, racy book, although my art is fantastic and my writing, because I'm a damn good writer, is good. However, the content might not be to their liking. And if they don't want to have me on, say like Mike Miller, and I get along with Mike, I get why he doesn't want me on. I know why he doesn't want me on, and I can't get mad at that. However, what I can do as a creator is when somebody comes to me and gives me feedback, whether it be detracting or you know, just glowing, I can give them politeness and civility and do the best I can to be a professional, I guess is the word that everybody uses, a proper professional, instead of being, you know, somebody that gets all offended because somebody didn't like what I produced. Even though it's my baby, that's their choice. That's their perspective. Now, the problem is everybody right now has so many perspectives, and they're yelling at each other, and they're getting upset over, you know, who gets airtime and all this other stuff. Ethan let me on the other day, and I appreciate the time that I got. Although I got on a stream which was completely went in another different direction, and you know, my comic was forgotten, and that's fine, all right, because that's his platform. I can't get mad that I didn't get a whole lot of time, but I got a little bit, and I should be thankful for that. The same thing applies, though, is diligence and drive and passion for what you're doing. And if you have that, you'll be a success. You'll get out there. You'll get it out. Even if it's a lackluster product, you know, that can be something that can be put forth, and somebody will bite. So
you know, right. If you don't mind, if I pounce on with that as well, or extend onto that, being in business for a lot of years, as well as in a version of a different type of entertainment industry and things of that in the past, a couple things that always come to my mind. One is nobody owes you a platform.
No,
you know, it's a great thing if that's extended to you, but nobody owes it to you. There's nobody out there that has to give it to you, and you're going to have to sometimes fight hard for it. And another thing I've also found too is, you know, you got to be thick-skinned in this business. There will always be more people that do not like your product than like it, especially like it enough to buy it. And you have to get over that and realize that's okay.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to like everything you do. I mean, I've done stuff and turned it in for, you know, to the parties involved, and they looked at me and said, "This is utter crap." You know, I didn't go cry in a corner. I was like, okay, where did I go wrong, and what did I miss that you wanted to do? You know, and people tell you that all the time. You're a failure. This sucks. It's the worst thing I've ever heard. And then you get that one person that loves it, and that's what you got to bank over. And you got to get as much of those as you can, of course, because let's be honest, guys. It's business. It's not personal. There is an element of business. And I understand the money part, but you don't want to stick 2 years into a project and not get anything for it. I feel you there. I understand that. You need to make a buck.
Can I read something from your chat? I want to get you guys' take on this. And this is from JB. He says, I see that as maybe not gatekeeping, but unwelcome. Creators risk a lot to be associated with ComicGate, not at least being blacklisted and I'm not sure what that was. What ceremony of the mainstream industry? So my question is, do you guys fear being blacklisted and being associated with ComicGate? Do you guys keep that in the back of your mind going, oh, maybe I won't get published because I'm associated with this particular group, or someone's going to look at me in a negative light even though I've done nothing wrong?
Nope.
I don't care.
I've been blacklisted. I mean, flat out, I've already been blacklisted.
I've accepted the fact that I am never going to write Batman.
Yeah. Nobody knows me, so I'm not really worried about it.
Nobody knows me either. But I mean, I don't really care. I don't. After viewing the mess that is the current industry, I don't even want to be involved with those people. I don't want to play that game.
It's very there's a lot of nepotism in the current comic book industry. They mostly just hire their friends, even if they don't have comic book experience. Scott Snyder did an interview with Brian Hill about this, and it was confirmed that like if you have like a good story or a good idea, we probably won't. We probably won't check it out. But if we know you and we're friends with you, then we'll probably try to get you a job. So there's a lot of nepotism
in this day and age. It's the best time. If you don't want to go with Marvel and DC, this is the best time. There's independence, even without ComicGate. You could go out and you can start your own.
And I do want to interject here for just a moment. Just for a minute, I don't think anybody has to be ComicGate, and nobody should be pushed into being with the label ComicGate. You know what? You are what you want to be. If you don't feel like you belong to that kind of thing, and you like some of the ins and outs, that's perfectly fine. I don't agree with everybody within ComicGate on everything, and nobody should. It shouldn't be expected that we have to agree on every little thing. That's ludicrous.
But we can all agree on making good books.
Yeah,
that's right.
As best as we can. I mean, you got to go into it looking like I want to do the best I can. And some people, there are limitations to certain things.
Well,
but, I mean,
not everything is going to be to everybody's liking. Some people are going to read Jawbreakers and they're going to read the best comic they've ever had, and some are going to read it and go, "Wow, I cannot believe I spent money for this."
We're seeing that with Ironsides. I really enjoyed Ironsides. I was surprised. I from what I read from Zach before, I was like, okay, I don't know. And I read it, and I read it in one sitting. I sat down and it was fun. I liked it. It was that grindhouse feel, just like he said. And it ended on kind of this, just kind of a little bit of mystery and a little bit of, it was fun. I liked it. I would like it as a movie. Other people read it and they were just, what is this shit? And I was like, okay, that's your taste. That's my taste. And that's the way the world is going to be. And you can't please everybody, but you can please that little niche. You can find your niche, you can find your demographic, and you can tailor to them. And if people come along and they like it, then, it's going to be a success. It doesn't have to be this massive thing where you're going to get like millions of dollars. It would be nice, but I mean, I'd be happy with just a bottom line that isn't in the red. That would be great.
Well, I want you to have better than that, just for the record. Anybody that's on here right now,
of course.
I put their links in chat. I will put their links down in the info bar later down below. Please check out their projects. I'm not saying go out and buy them. I'm not shilling anything, pushing on people. I'm just saying they're there. Check them out. Give them a chance. If you like it,
do you mind if I shill a GoFundMe after all the talk that I say? It's not the central focus, but I do not begrudge anybody success. So if you don't mind, I would love to push a GoFundMe.
Absolutely.
There is a ComicGator, and by this, and I know I piss people off when I say this, but a real honest to God, been here for a freaking year ComicGator, not someone who showed up during Star Wars month and decided, hey, here's my book, which is also a point of contention I do have, which we can go over in just a touch. But her name is Feisty Fan, and she is awesome, and she stood up for us. When Batman 50 dropped and everybody was mad, she stood up for us and got nailed for it.
Does she own the comic books?
The comic shop. Yeah,
she's cool.
She stood up for the readers. She stood up for the readers. She got shit for it. Nobody really talked about it. She asked us not to. But now she's got hit bad with multiple sclerosis, and she has got a GoFundMe for only $5,000. Everybody's like, oh, let's get 6 figures. Let's get 5,000 If you could do 10, excellent. But let's get 5,000. Right now, she's only up to 250.
Angleton,
She's
can you
been going through some trouble. So
can you DM me the link for that?
I already put the link in the chat for the.
Thank you.
Everybody can put down a little bit of money on that.
But she's been going through some really bad trouble. Some of it I cannot talk about, but part of it has been that she's really been hit by the multiple sclerosis, and I can talk about that because she's talked about that. And so please, by all means, if you can help, please help. Even if it is only share that GoFundMe and talk about it and get that out. If that's all you could, everybody knows I'm poor as so, you know.
What do you mean? What do you mean by Star Wars month?
Oh, there are people who have not been around ComicGate. They come in and they've called themselves ComicGate and said, "Here's my book."
Are you just being another way of saying fair weathered fan? Is that what?
I guess that would be, you know. And here's the thing: if you've been around for a while, and I know there a couple of you have, and oh, by the way, I so apologize. I have a really bad memory for names, and Andrew was on the other day, and I was like, "Oh shit, yeah." I was like, "Hey, Andrew, yeah, have you been on here?" He goes, "What? You hosted me?" I was like, "Oh fuck." Yeah,
yeah, we shilled my last series.
I know. I was like, I was so embarrassed by that. I apologize so much.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
I have a question.
But
Sorry, go ahead.
When they're using the ComicGate movement to sell a comic, if you've been around, I mean, like DNC's obviously he's one of the first. Weaponized Nerd Rage has been around for a year and a half. EVS has been around for, you know, but if you've shown up a month ago, I don't know, man. It just seems like, hey, I saw that you can make money here, you know, and I got that feeling a lot from. Here's my friends, guys. Give them 100,000. It just that put it
opportunity.
Yeah, opportunities. Yeah.
I showed up probably May or June.
Mm-hmm.
I actually
Does that
announced.
make me?
Well, no,
You fair weather mother. No.
Well, here's the nice way.
The thing is even in May or June, you've been around for a while. You know, it's I can understand that. But if you didn't show up and go, "Hey, I'm here now, give me my book," if you've been around and you've been fighting the good fight, and then said, "Oh, okay, yeah, maybe I'll start something." Hey, that's different. But if you show up
as a supporter.
Then you get someone like me who's done books for the last 4 years and has seen people with like-minded ideas that want to hook up. You know?
Right.
Well, see,
you know, it's networking too.
Let me interject real quickly. Just for my own sake, like I actually announced I was going to do a book before Zach did. If you look at my Twitter, I announced it September 17th in 17. That's when I decided I'm going to do a book. There seems to be a market for it, and that was before he even announced that he was going to do Jawbreakers. He'd put out like his old, the old Jawbreakers and let people have at it. But I saw that there was a market, and I still see it. This is something that has growth, and I know that people keep showing up, but I see a lot of really good books out there, books that I have to invest in, you know, and I have to find the money and kind of sock it away, even though I'm trying to do my own thing because I want those books on my shelves, and I haven't felt that for a long time. I really haven't. Like where I see something new and I'm like, that's a lot of fun. I like that, and I'm going to go do it, you know, and I'm going to go get that book.
One thing I want to be careful with is I don't like to jump into somebody's not legit because of the amount of time they've been here and things too, because you know some of it's networking and things too, and I'm all for networking. If you know you can find somebody that can help each other and things, you know, more power to them. I say, hey, this is the great opportunity. Let's grow this thing. Let's get so many creators, so many independent people working together and networking. Let's stick it to Marvel and DC and things that if they don't want to listen to us, let's make books that they do want to spend their money on and show them that there is that market that's there. Let's take this opportunity.
Without the ComicGate level, Clownfish TV in your chat is saying this. I literally cannot tell you what exactly ComicGate is, so we don't use the hashtag. We're doing indie comics years before CG and agree with the movement on some points, not others. So lots of independent comic books going on long before this movement. Right. It just happens to be that some of us happen to click with the ideals that are being presented that, you know, comics have changed, not necessarily in the best light, you know.
Right. And see, I think this has proven my point right here. We're all got together and we all have a different version of what we view ComicGate as. ComicGate just isn't something that's truly there. It's organic. There's not one hard definition as much as somebody might want to make it. It just doesn't exist. So we could throw that name away completely, really, if we wanted to, and just have it as something else.
The thing is if you threw away the name ComicGate, I would still be doing what I'm doing because we were not always ComicGate. Now here I want to say this. One, this is actually why I wanted to have a live stream with Frugal and Doug Ernst, DNC, and Cummings, like we could ever get them back, because I'm the zealot of the group. Not a lot of people know this because DNC was the big guy, and because I always questioned tactics, I got kind of pushed down a little bit, but I've always been the zealot. This is what I do. You know, DNC had a regular job, and he announced, really, I'm not ComicGate. I just want to make my comic books and go. He announced that in 2017, but a movement built around him. You know, so amazing, fucking amazing that happened, because he literally said he just wanted to make his comics and go. Doug had his job. Captain Frugal's got his job. I've been focused solely on the message. Let's get identity politics. We're never going to get completely out, but let's get story first. Let's get better books. Let's get our characters back. Let's get that kind of thing. And have figured to do that by pointing out what was stupid and what was silly and making fun and just talking about what we see bad in the new comic book news and so forth and so on. And you know what? We have been successful on that front. So I'm kind of a zealot as far as that particular definition of ComicGate. Now, hey, you know what? I think it's great that there are a whole bunch of people that showed up and said, well, look, guys, you obviously want comics, and we're willing to make these kind of comics because we agree with you. That's freaking awesome. Thank you for showing up and providing people who think a certain way and being people who think a certain way to offer those comics to them. But I still, it's got to be the consumer who are on the pedestal. It cannot be the comic book creator. If you put the comic book creator on the pedestal, if EVS is on the pedestal, what you're going to get is Marvel and DC all over again. Just on the different side of the
That's kind of what I've been really. What I've been
Gosh, I hope I have this passion later, man. I hope I'm not spending it right now. I got I
got you to pull your load on my show.
Yeah.
I've got to go, guys. I've got a few other streams I need to get on.
Okay, hold on, Andrew, before you go. Once again, do a quick plug. Thank you so much for coming here and sharing what this means to you. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Hey, no worries. I would stick around longer if the store wasn't closing in 15 minutes, but I got to get up there.
Can I add just one little thing? Also, because I'm talking like this, I really do have no malice towards anyone. It is just strictly how I feel what's going on in ComicGate. And I love the fact that Frugal is here to put me down because he's also one of the OGs. So he can go, settle down, Aaron. England, I just talked to myself again, but yeah, just settle down, because I will definitely listen to him and Doug and all that.
Well, I thank Captain Frugal for allowing me to come on the show, and hopefully you'll welcome me back sometime.
Anytime. I'd love it. And thank you guys. And once again, check out their projects. Okay. At least give them a check. At least you could do is look at it and see if it's for you. All right. Thank you guys.
All right. Thank you for having me on. Thank you so much. Bye.
Have a going in.
Can I now get a word of edgewise?
Take care, guys.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Anyway, Mystery, you were trying to say something. So,
yes. One of the things I've been noticing is that a lot of these bigger guys who have developed a sort of cult of personality, who have a lot of people who kind of hang on their every word, you know, when they declare that they don't like somebody, the person that they don't like will catch a lot of shit, even if it's just over something really petty. And I think that's kind of gatekeeping in a way, because they are essentially turning a large swath of people who, you know, might have been interested in what they had to offer, like almost immediately against them.
Okay. So, wow, there, as you see, and this is the interesting thing about it. I mean, look at how much we all have in common here. We really do. We have so much more in common, but yet all these fights have been coming because of little things that separate us. That really greatly saddens me. It didn't used to be like this when it started. Granted, there was always some dissension in things, and there's always going to be. But we gotta quit. Just stop letting little things get in the way. This could be a great business opportunity for everybody here in to come. Just working together, like Clownfish mentioned. Absolutely. It is, yeah, there's money for it. You have to, if this is what your living's going to be. But this is also something that's passionate. This people like Englentine and myself that we've been reading this stuff for like 40 years.
You're old.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there is a passion to it. And you can understand them why these people have issues with things.
Actually, I think that what I'm talking about and what Slick and Andrew and dude, I'm so sorry. What is the name here? I'm sorry, brother. Kale.
Yep.
Yeah. What they're talking about. I'm assuming you're one of the comic book creators there. But what I think there is a happy medium, something we can go to. The only thing I'm saying is it's consumers first. That's what this has always been about. Get the respect for the consumers. It should be thank you very much for buying our product and not thank you very much for making it.
Well, I agree with you. It has to be, because if it's not consumers first, who's going to buy the product? What business have we ever seen that can be successful spitting in the face of the very people they're trying to get money from? That is a business model that's doomed for failure. And how creators and things of Marvel and DC have allowed this to occur just baffles me. It makes no business sense at all.
Well, because these people don't generally care about business sense, or at least the ones that have drunk the proverbial Kool-Aid don't care about business sense, because A, a lot of them hate capitalism and are just using it to destroy itself, and B, those that might be neutral to capitalism have this ideology in their head that says this is what people should want. This is what people should like. And we are their moral and intellectual betters. So we have to be the parents and take away their toys because they're petulant children, essentially. That is what they generally think of us, is they are the parents whose job it is to determine what we should like and should want rather than what we do like and do want. And when we react in the way we react to people taking our shit away or ruining our shit, they see that as childish temper tantrums. That's the issue.
Absolutely.
Oh, also, I read a comment, if you don't mind me addressing
please, let's read some of these comments. You guys have been so passionate, I've been skipping them. I want to make sure we cover these.
There was a gentleman who said something about me calling a poser, because that's not, I'm not saying anybody who came in early is a poser. It's not really, I guess I need to paint a better picture. I got to paint another picture. It's like, I don't know, if you believe in something like I do, if somebody has always been there and they pop up, it's different. If somebody shows up in the door and saying, it's hard to explain.
I think what you're describing is bandwagoning.
I guess.
Unprincipled
I don't know, but it just seems like it just seems fishy, I guess. I don't know.
Well, can I say something to you? Because
by all means, please, if you can help me put this into words, especially, that would be awesome. And sometimes I would.
I'm approaching this from a different direction than you.
Okay. Obviously, yeah, that's cool.
I haven't been in this for a year or more.
Yeah.
I've been a comic fan all my life. I can tell you that. And I didn't know who Ethan Van Sciver was before March. And I was one of those guys who was dissatisfied with because I'm a big Star Wars fan. So, I was looking online and I was being tired of being called all these names by SJWs. And that's how I found his channel. And then that led me to Captain Cummings and DNC. And I didn't even know that all this was going on in the comic industry, to be honest with you. I was going into comic stores, buying comics and leaving.
So you just walked into a bomb.
Yeah. So
Hashtag Ryan Johnson did nothing wrong.
right. So
That's not true.
I don't think I'm a poser. I mean, I've bought over a dozen of these
Yeah.
titles. One of them twice I've backed, and I agree. And I didn't get to tell you what this means to me, but as a consumer first before a creator, what this means to me is essentially I don't like anything, whether it's movies, Star Wars, comics, Batman, Superman, whatever it may be. I don't like them injected with politics. I don't like them driven by a political agenda. And I could put myself in a lot of these guys who are getting attacked by SJWs. I could put myself in their shoes because it's happened in other areas. Politics. We saw it in the last election. So this kind of all coincides together to me. I mean, yes, it's comics and it's happening in the comic industry with the big two. But you see it across the board, and it really what it is it's a culture war, and it's jumping from one industry to another.
Yeah, whatever's popular, it jumps into. I do want to read some of these chats real quick too, because there's a lot of great things. Joshua Dortree asked something for the panel. The last consumer revolt we had was Gamergate, and it ultimately failed on multiple aspects. Shouldn't ComicGate be welcoming of industry pros using the movement?
See, I disagree with your base assertion there. I don't think Gamergate failed. I think Gamergate was really quite successful. Just look at the shadow it cast over it lives rent free in so many people's heads and still is this, specter that haunts so many of these SJWs in the industry. So I don't think it failed at all. I that's one of the reasons I like the moniker ComicGate. I think being as when you get down to it, SJWs want geek culture because they want to throw geeks into the oppression stack. They want geek culture to be a form of, marginalized identity, as they call it. But because geek culture is principally driven by two things, primarily expertise and passion, we generally tell them to go fuck themselves because we care about meritocracy. And that's why they try so hard to get geek culture. And there's so many of these divergent attempts to take over culture, especially geek culture, like Gamergate and ComicGate, taking it back because it's geeks standing up for themselves, going, no, we refuse to be your marginalized purse puppies, essentially. And yeah, that's not a particular term I like, but that's what it boils down to. It's they want us to be a protected, marginalized class that they can use to exploit and push their ideology in the culture war. And we're saying no because we care about meritocracy, expertise, and passion, because that's what a geek is.
Okay. Just to give a shout out, DC Fans United is going live doing a stream tomorrow. So check them out. Another good YouTuber, that doesn't get as much attention maybe as they should. So
he's a good guy. I like him.
Yeah.
Like
there's so many guys down here that are just trying to, share their views and build community, and they're all awesome. So absolutely great. Did anybody else want to mention any connections there between Gamergate, or was that good enough for a response?
Well, I'm not a Gamergate.
Well, the question was, should we accept? Of course we should accept.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it'd be bad to shut the door because we're all in this together. That's one of this is a great point in this case is we actually now have a connection, and that connection is great for business. What better way to build brand loyalty than to build connections? And I have to say, Ethan Van Sciver knows how to do that. He really,
he knows how to sell. He does. Yeah. He's good at it, and he's
really damn good at it.
He's multi-talented. I mean, say what you will about whatever else, and I have some things to say about certain things and other things about others, but I usually keep my mouth shut about it.
Yeah.
But I'll give praise where it's due. The guy's just damn talented in multifarious ways. He's good at what he does. And I have to say this, we're lucky to have him around, even if we disagree with some of the things he does. because he is a voice that has to be listened to, because the rest of the industry, he was there, just, right in the thick of it. And, he's a great artist. He just is. I mean, and anybody who has any other things to say about him, I think that he's trying to do the best he can. And we may not agree with some of the things he does. But I think that the bridges that we have in general within our community can be cohesive, can keep us together. And I feel sad that there are some of these fractures and disagreements, because we've lost a good thing, and especially the latest thing with Cash Grab. I was looking forward to that. I said that on the stream when I was with Ethan. I'm very sad about that, because
that was shaping up to be something really good, wasn't it?
It was, and the art looked great, and the two main characters have ability for comedy. They could have mainstream appeal if it wasn't for the zeitgeist of the age. They really have comedic timing. They're funny as all get out. And what could have come out of that? What
book is this?
Cash Grab.
That's the Nurkish Cecil book, right?
Yeah, the would be.
It's been renamed Backstab.
Yeah. And Cecil's going forward with it, and with the backing of EBS, and I guess Nurkish is going his own way. I don't think he's doing a comic, and Timlin will do what he does. And Tim is very talented in his own right. He has comedic ability too. I mean, just look at any of the books he's done. He's funny. It would have been a great book, and I'm really sad about that, because of internecine politics that we seem to have in our community.
There's always going to be disagreements. We're not going to agree with everybody, and we're going to make mistakes, and sometimes we might even wrong somebody. And I know this is my nature. I know it can be very hard to do. It's sometimes we got to learn to forgive, because we're all human, right? And of course we got to try to do the right thing. And sometimes in a position you don't know what's going on. We get half the thing. We make assumptions of what's going on, but we don't always know the whole picture. And this could be one of those situations. There could have been something going on there that we just don't know. And even Cecil's addressed that and been very good about how he's addressed that he doesn't want to flame these guys when there might be something he doesn't know and a good reason yet.
He's pretty pissed off though.
He has every right to be. I mean, I listened to his stream. He left money on the table, and that's very true. I mean, that book I think had a large potential for making money.
I would like to.
Sorry, go ahead.
I would like to point out I have never been in a fight with any other comic skater ever.
Really? Really? I'm shocked. I'm shocked in the team with your mild manners.
I suspect that's bollocks, but that's just my
actually.
opinion.
By the way, if you haven't noticed in the comics, in the comment section, Cleveland Brown has been ripping me a new one up and down. So I just gave him that line so he can work with it. Because he's always going off on the fact that he's pissing somebody else off now. So.
And by the way, how's your brother Chef? I mean, I'm seeing him for a while.
He's doing okay. Not as mobile as he used to be, which is kind of sad. Which we're trying to get out of it. He got a SeaWorld pass so we can walk around, and the aquatica thing, he can move in the water. It's kind of weird. Right. We go down the rapids. They have this rapids thing where you can actually kind of run with it, and he does that all the time. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, water therapy is really good for some of the disabilities.
But he's doing all right. He's still a crazy whack job liberal or lefty, whatever you want to call it.
He definitely has his own perspective. I'll give him that.
Yeah. That is true. Yeah.
But see, you still love him.
Right? He's his brother. It's very hard not to love your brother unless.
Well, you'd be surprised. I have seen so many families split apart over the dumbest little things.
Yeah,
it's just devastating. I'm the only conservative in the family, but
they will disown their entire families if they have political disagreements with their families.
Yep. We all say, "Hey, we're going to go vote," and I said, "Okay, whose vote am I canceling out today?"
Well,
this is one of the first times I ever voted complete party, because there's no going to vote with a D again, ever.
Not until that something drastic changes.
Yeah. Yep. That's real world politics, though.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I've see, when there's something wrong, I'm kind of, I don't know, maybe I am Cummings light, because he's got a bad habit also of calling out everybody, no matter what, you know, and I've kind of done that as well, but
I wouldn't call you light. I think you stood up quite well and taken a lot of animosity and a lot of hits, and you deserve to pat yourself on the back more than that. You have bigger shoulders than that. It's not light.
well, by that I meant I don't exactly use the same language as him.
Oh, okay.
I try to see the other side, even when I disagree. But yeah, that has definitely rubbed people the wrong way. The thing is you also have to be willing to say, okay, yeah, everything's fine. Problem.
Well, that kind of thinking though is exactly what made you my favorite of that original set of 4 or 5. Was you saw it from both sides and you cared more about the comics than you did the drama most times.
Now it's 5. Doug Ernst and it was Cummings. I count in Howler Mouse because he actually influenced me. But Cummings, Frugal, Mem was around doing politics videos. He jumped into the comic scene later. Myself, then DNC. Yeah.
Mem is like become one of my favorites because of his
Mem's brilliant.
Yeah,
you know what?
His storytelling to me, he should be like the big two should snap him up. He has some of the best ideas. Him and just some guy. I'm just like, those
I was about to say
writing.
that. Yeah. If all were right in the world, the two biggest comics gators are the two that are on the side of comics, on the sidelines of ComicGate, JSG and Mem.
No,
yeah,
they are talents that should be employed. I can't believe that they're not.
And Doug Ernst, I would put that up. I'd put him up as well. Yeah, he's really good.
What happened with Cummings? Why do you kind of leave? Why do you walk away?
He went to college. He didn't like what was going on with ComicGate, so he's like, "See ya, I'm out."
Okay.
That's as far as I've got from it. That's all I know. He hasn't refuted that idea, and if you watch, he does his opinion pieces.
Yeah.
He's taking a hit on the views, but fuck it, he's doing what he wants, and you know, that's Cummings for you, man. He did do a video about Ethan today.
I did see that. Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
He was very he was very kind, and he was talking. He basically invited the war campaign out to dinner. Said, "Hey, you know what? You're a bunch of good guys."
What the hell is the war campaign?
The war campaign. They are a group of gentlemen, and I think there's a lady in there that they're acolytes of EDFs. I guess that's the best way. It seems that's how they are. You know, they hail them as Caesar. Acolyte, follower. It's a fancy way to say follower.
Yeah,
but
they very odd choice of words.
What was that?
I said, I know what it means. I'm just saying it's a very odd choice of words.
Well, acolyte, you know, it's kind of a religious thing, so that's why I was using it. And so I see them that way, and they call themselves the Centurions, and they call themselves a LARPer. They play D&D and they play these parts, but they tend to go out there and they get on people's case a little bit.
Well, I found out. I'm sorry. I have a bad habit of interrupting. I apologize.
That's all right. I mean, when they get out and they do that, some people perceive that as being a bit aggressive. I guess that's the best way to put it. But say what you want to say.
They appear to be for EVS what the Sweetie Squad is for Mr. Medicare.
I would say that's apropos, yeah.
Well, you know, they did the unforgivable thing, and right now I don't give a fuck if they come after me, because I saw that they went after Nerd Wonder, and if there is a rule on I Love Comics,
Nerd Wonder
is you don't fuck with Nerd Wonder. That is, when I saw that, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
What did they go after for, Anlin?
Well, they've gone after quite a few people, and Nerd has been with them in that set that they kind of take exception
they were going after trying to get Malin to draw her off of a book or something like that.
Yeah,
so.
she's doing Ashcan for Malin's campaign.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, no, you don't fuck with Nerd Wonder. You don't fuck with Maranya. Ain't going to happen on my nope.
They're not very fond of, I believe they're not very fond of Sashi either. I don't know. They seem to go after quite a few ladies. But it's not the only ones that they go after. Sketch is out there going after Pope Fire. And he's kind of involved with them a little bit. I'm not sure. But I mean, those are the things that I'm talking about sometimes that I feel a little bit, it makes me not want to be part of ComicGate.
Right.
I'm being honest.
Yeah, it really is, and there's no sense of that. The Tim, the war campaign. So the last 2 nights, I've done these live streams basically about all the stuff that's going on, about Ethan declaring himself the king of ComicGate and all that kind of stuff. And I did 2 of them because people wanted to add their voices to it. Okay, fine. And if they want to do a third, I'm fine with that as well. But everybody told me, if you talk about Ethan, if you go on this debate tonight, the war campaign's going to come after you. The war campaign's going to come after you. All right.
And they probably will.
Okay,
well,
man.
And see, this is what I don't get is why is there so much dissension? How hard is it just to get along? I mean, I've talked to almost all the people. I don't know much about the war campaign because they've been more recent and I've just been too busy. But I tell you, the people in this community, I just keep on, it's wonderful person after wonderful person. Sure, some of us have a harder edge or a harder exterior, but when you get past that and you get to know them more, it's like, there's a good person there. This is just a wonderful group that we all have a passion about something. And when people are passionate about something, it's like, why can't we focus more on that and quit arguing about the little things?
Well, I mean, one of the leaders of the war campaign is Ro Kabir Kumar. And I think I'm getting his name right. And he's a family man, and he's got a really great speaking voice. And he seems like a guy you could sit down and have a beer with and jaw a little bit. But within context of his group, some things in the past have gone down that are just they gave me pause. You know, I looked at him from an objective point of view, and I was like, okay. And look, there was a time just before Captain Cummings dropped out when they had that stream, and everybody was getting along, and I was like, this is great. It seemed like the community was coming together, and all of a sudden there was this fracture. Captain Cummings got mad, and then there was all this craziness that went on with like Vox and John Della Rose. And look, I don't agree with a lot of things that a lot of people say, namely those two. They have some views that I don't agree with, but I can be polite and civil, and it seems like it's gone to the point where like because of fear of having your channel shut down or your platform taken away, and that is a legitimate fear today, that they tend to start gatekeeping really hard. And I understand that, but from the outside it starts to look really has bad optics, considering what the values and the statements that have been made about ComicGate. And I get it. And so this weird politics that are going on has caused schisms all over the place. It seems to fracture eyes and made a bunch of cliques, and it really feels high school a lot of times. And I'm just trying to sell a damn book and be a cool person and respect my customers and respect people in general. And it sometimes makes it really hard. So I just have to hold my mouth and move forward.
And here's the thing, and this is one of the reasons why I in particular am against like Ethan deciding he is the head fixture of ComicGate. We were the lowercase L libertarian option, not the fucking fucked up quasi ANCAP political ideology, but the libertarian in principle alternative to a bunch of moralizing authoritarian cucks, namely the SJWs and the alt-right. So to see someone essentially use the force of their personality to try and turn what should be the individualistic, free-thinking alternative to all this shit into exactly the kind of purity spiraling, morally authoritarian, normative bullshit that we tried to get away from just rubs me every single kind of wrong way it's possible to rub me.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's one thing though. I think whenever he said he's like the leader, he was just joking. You know, I
Yeah,
don't think he's ever.
I think there is some of that too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put it to the everything he says is literal. I think there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek things, but I do understand why people from the outside feel a little bit. I mean, he's fucking Ethan Van Sciver. And he swings. And the other day he was saying, "I'm not an influencer. I don't like that word." And I'm like, "Well, too bad, dude. I didn't say that, but too bad. You are an influence. You have a sphere of influence. You have the biggest platform of all of us to get people to do things. I mean, it really is. I mean, he goes on and starts showing a book, and that book goes up.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just the nature of it, and he crows about it. And I'm not saying that he shouldn't, because it's something he can crow about very legitimately. However, when he doesn't understand why people are feeling like they're being marginalized. I hate that damn word, but that's what they're feeling like. That's where it's coming from. And you know, it's hard because there is a nature of, there is a meritocracy, and some books are better than others, and some books he's going to look at better. He's going to discriminate, and that's, you saw him do that when he was looking at people's portfolios. He discriminates, and it's harsh. I'm lucky because I have an artist that is just astounding. All right, I'm lucky. I really am. If I had an artist that wasn't at the same caliber, I might have to really fight really hard. I just got fortunate, and it truly is a fortunate thing with me. However, I understand every other creator out there who's fighting and clawing and scratching to get their place, and they see that they're not getting on there. It really hurts. And then you get other people feeling like, you know, he says he's the king of ComicGate, and then everybody else who's fighting for not only just for creativity, but for the thing is to get Marvel and DC to somehow change, which I don't know. It's like trying to turn around an iceberg. How are you going to do that?
You know,
Well, it's the principle of the thing, though. That's the thing. I think it's the principle of the thing.
in the comment section, Mr. Fantastic brought up a great point that makes me think. He said we need a voice of reason. Put Little Frugal on, and that's joking and funny and all, but it does bring an element of truth, and that's what I think of. Like you mentioned,
Out of the
optics.
mouth of
What is
babe.
it like when somebody that's new is coming in, checking into this community, and the first thing they see is everybody's fighting?
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad optics.
Well, it's not.
I'll bet you this affects.
It's
Sorry,
not.
man, go ahead.
I don't know. With someone new coming in, let's say I'm new, or I've been around for a few months, but I heard of ComicGate of all the bad things first, and I wanted to have an open mind and research into everything myself. And what I found was these are guys who align with me. But to the someone coming in like tomorrow or last week is going to look at this and go, "This is just absolutely batshit crazy," you know.
I will bet money that this affects the comic book industry as well. People come in, they see the Marvel writers and artists yelling and screaming, "They're Nazis, they're Nazis," and then they see us, doing our SJW suck bit. It can't be.
I've abandoned those. I've abandoned those words because, I mean, you can see NPC and SJWs and snowflakes and cucks and soy boys and all that, and again, they are apropos for what they mean. I get why they're being said. However, it doesn't help. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If you're trying to build bridges, those do not help. You have to make arguments, and then you have to keep making those arguments, and you have to keep making those arguments rationally, calmly, and as best you can to be kind. And we're not doing that. A lot of people aren't doing that.
I will say, I say this lightly as I drop a ton of weight on you. I think Engleton, you and Unranked Chevron and EVS from Kia Law, you have a big stream coming up here, and I think you have a great opportunity to build. With putting a lot of weight on your shoulders here. This could be a great building moment or a complete cluster mess, tear everything down moment too. So. I think this is an opportunity for us to show that we can have differences, but we're still a community.
That's a great point.
My opinion on what Slick was saying earlier, here's the thing. I tried being kind in the beginning. I tried, talking to a lot of these pros in a very kind of respectful manner. And you know what I got back? Just a bunch of people being assholes.
Well,
And
I
here's
understand.
the thing: I got sick of it. I got sick of it. And you
Well,
know
I
what?
understand.
If you're
It's
kind to
not
me
easy.
back, I will be kind. But the moment you start acting like an asshole, I will show you that I can be an asshole right back, motherfucker.
Now, are you talking about the ComicGate pros?
No, just the industry pros.
Well,
And
see,
all-
I get what you're saying. I do, and I have been called all the names. I mean, and I have been nothing but I have not thrown any flames. I mean, I've been maybe a little bit tongue in cheek and a little bit sarcastic once in a while, but I usually when it comes, it's just they're crazies, and it's not always the people that are pros either. In fact, I've very rarely had any problems with pros because I approach them in a certain way, and then I make my stuff clear, and then the only one that's ever really just kind of came back at me was Chuck Windig, and then he blocked me immediately. And I didn't say something very harsh. I understand how it can get hurtful, especially when you're trying to say that out there, and it is not easy. Like walking the middle path, as the Buddha would say, is not easy. And keeping balance, because you get pissed off and you want to just snap back an
Yes.
invective, but that really won't help, and it'll reflect back on when people see what you said. And we put stuff out there all the time. Unless you delete your tweets or the stuff on Facebook or whatever, it's out there. And so what you want to present is the best version of the community that you want to see there. I mean, it's tough, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, because I'm not, but I don't see that a lot happening, especially if I'm up at the top. They're playing the drama game, and I can see why, because often it brings in clicks. It brings in views. I get it. People want to watch it. They want to see all this stuff. But then it gets tiring and it gets burned out, and then people just get bored because they're tired of it. What you want to do is just what anybody wants to do, that they're being creative and putting stuff out there as content, is be as genuine as possible. I mean, truly, that's it. Just be genuine. And if you start to have to swear, I guess that's part of it. But if you're genuine to yourself, okay. For me, it's trying to be a peacemaker. Because if somebody finally does get me to pop off, it's not a pretty sight. I used to be a flamethrower back in my 30s, and all it did was ever cause dissension, and I never really saw anything good come out of it. I really didn't.
Yeah, sorry, Slick, but I'm a I'm a fighter. I've been fighting my whole life. And if these people want to have the fight, we can fucking have the fight.
Okay, well that's you. I'm not saying if that's your genuine, okay, but you might want to evaluate when that's appropriate and when that isn't, because go to war when it has to be. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Pick and choose your battles is what you're saying.
Right.
I don't go to war over petty shit, but when it's time for me to fight, I'm bringing hell with me.
Okay, I'm saying, but when it's time, I mean, choose your battles, and when you do, bring out the big guns. But there you go.
If you don't mind me saying, I can understand that mentality of being angry, and I've grown up in a lot of that, and I know you probably don't get that from me today, but back when I was young, I was quite the fighter. I got in a lot of fights, and I mean, we're not talking few. I'm talking hospitalizations and everything else, and you know what?
My teen years.
Yeah, I look back and I think of, was it really worth it? What did it solve? What did it help? And it really changed my outlook. And like you said, now my thoughts are: is this hill worth dying on? Is this a battle I really want to have?
Right.
Is there common ground? And then sometimes there will need to be a battle. Let's be honest, that will need to happen. But there's a lot of times that we let things become battles that don't need to be.
Yeah, and that's totally true. If you ever see me in a battle these days, you'll probably see me angling people. I use that word a lot. And people will say that's manipulation. Um, so maybe you saw what my interactions with Ren. That was me going to battle with Ren.
Mhm.
And it's not, and I didn't want to have it be this thing where she could use ammo against me, and I was kind to her. At the same time, maybe a little bit tongue in cheek, a little bit of sarcasm here and there, and she knew what I was doing. But that's the thing. But you don't see her coming after me anymore. There's a reason for that.
I've always said the best weapon in the world is logic, and if any of you guys have ever seen me get into it with someone on Twitter, you know that's exactly what I do. I detach entirely and just look at things in kind of a hyper-focused, logic-oriented means, because I don't, in actuality, care about the person who is expressing the idiotic idea. I just would rather the idiotic idea is no longer expressed. So that's the way I go about it.
That's very debate oriented right there.
Yeah, when it comes to me, you will know when you have pissed me off, because I will stop thinking in terms of emotions altogether and just pick apart in almost a psychotic level of detail how many fractal ways you are going wrong.
Yeah, I think I don't want to give the wrong impression about me. I don't go around spoiling for a fight. That's the reason I've been avoiding most of the drama bullshit. Usually whenever I see drama popping off within CG, I just excuse myself from this conversation. But
that's the better part of valor right there.
Whenever there's a point where it's like Jean-Luc Picard said in Star Trek: The Next Generation: the line must be drawn here, this far, no farther, and that's when I get ready to fight.
And like I said, most of the people I know in the community
Nerd
are my friends. Is Nerd here?
No, I was just making fun of Mr. E.
Oh, I mean, most of the people I interact with are my friends, and I consider most of the people I associate with friends. I don't see any reason to go after them. I see some bad behavior from some people, but even then, I try to be conciliatory with them, at the same time showing them I'm not really down with what you're doing, you know. And I haven't really gotten any harsh feedback from them. But again, I've honed this kind of skill for a long time, especially with the text. I'm good at writing. Maybe not as good verbally. I'm not an orator, but the thing is I'm seeing so much of the vitriol that has been cast back and forth between the opposition now infecting our groups. And I say groups now because it's become groups. I mean, England team.
It's always been factioned.
Right. But it's been factioned, but like there was at time a little bit more cohesion than there is now.
Yes. We were a community, but we were a community of, I guess faction. Like some people liked the harsher tones of Cummings or the more analytical way of Doug Ernst, the complete understanding that you would get from Frugal, and whatever the fuck I added to it. I don't know.
Dude, I really enjoyed a lot of the stuff you've done. Sorry.
I've always just hung out and talked to the people that, you know, I've wanted to talk, I've felt were interesting, and that I thought I could have a good conversation with. Factions be damned. I don't think that having a faction mentality really adds anything to this whole group.
Well, it also doesn't hurt it. You know, me and Doug and Frugal, we get along great. I haven't talked to Rich in a long time.
He doesn't talk to a lot. He doesn't talk to a lot of people though. He's kind of an island unto himself.
You know, Wep's got his group. He went mega rather than ComicGate. So he talks about also. He's barely a comic book channel anymore. I don't think he is anymore. We're best of friends. Same with Comics Division, you know, so it doesn't matter but I guess you could say we're all part of the kind of same group and everything. But
you holding up a drawing?
Yeah, that's me.
The whole thing is just because you're in different factions doesn't mean you can't get along, and you know
that's good. Then I like that.
You know,
actually, Marie Witter. I collect a lot of original art. I go around the cons. I get these pros to draw my character. They're really nice.
It's really cool, man.
I think what we've seen here just today says a lot. You look, a lot of us didn't know each other or never even really met each other. And that's what's great about this community. And just in a moment's notice, we can all let's get together and talk. And I'm going to put up that screen so that screen shows that, because that's cool. There we go.
Boobies.
Look at that.
Boobies.
Yeah. Continue showing those comics. But that's the thing. A group of people that would just have something in common. We can all get together in a moment's notice and talk and discuss things in a civil manner. And this is awesome. And look at cool comic books, right? Look at those.
See, that's the aesthetics we need. And we've lost.
Yeah.
I've always said that one of the cool things is if you and me and Division, Weaponized Nerd Rage, Dalton, Corrupt, Mystery, the whole 9 yards. If we ever like actually met somewhere, I don't think there would be that awkward moment, except for looking and going, "Wow, you really are bald, fat, and ugly, aren't you?" You know, that kind of
I
thing.
like that, dude.
Well, I almost met Angleteen, but when I went to Florida, when I was going to go down and visit him, I ended up being in the bathroom all day long because something got me sick for a couple of days.
The one day we had that you weren't was raining like cats and freaking dogs at the time. So yeah, that's too bad. Ernst is coming down, so they're coming on vacation here. So I'm gonna meet up with them for dinner on Sunday. So fingers
You're in
crossed.
Florida, right?
Don't
You're
know.
in Florida, right?
In the summer at a local Comic-Con, but ended up having to work that day. I had to work all day. So.
Yeah, that would have been so cool though if we had actually managed that.
I would love to have, like, Nerd Wonder a while back put together the idea of why don't we have a
Convention.
like a ComicGate convention, which I thought was excellent. I'm like, yeah, come down to Florida and I'll try to put together some tickets. We could go to Universal too. That'd be awesome. I see. My dream is to freaking not like, you know, it's not my dream. Like say I would want to win the lottery, but I would love to do a live stream in Marvel Island. At Universal. I think that would just be too badass. I think that would be a lot of fun. Except for there's one huge problem with that. Frugal would not be able to wear the mask.
Oh. You'd have to see my ugly mug.
Yeah. we would have to find you some other mask because they wouldn't let you have that that's way too professional.
Well, I would actually like to have a Captain Frugal mask made. It's going to be very similar to the Captain America one, but it has to have the CF on there and things. But
dude, did you saw that picture I shared, right? That Samurai Raccoon drew of me?
Yes, I did.
I was like, holy shit! Someone finally I finally saw an avatar I could use where I won't get sued. I mean, I love this. I love the one that that Nerd Wonder did of the Mr. Miracle, and of course, Switch gave me the ones for my birthday. But Samurai Kun's a dude, right? Because I've done this before. I'm like, okay, one of them is a girl, one of them's a guy, one of them's not gay, one of them's it's okay. But anyway, I did a face reveal on one of the live streams. And he drew it from that, and it was just fucking awesome. I loved it. Included the dad gut and everything. Fucking awesome. Loved it. Yeah.
Jonah Art said I should wear a paper bag.
The unknown comic will sue you.
Yeah. Oh, but if you're going to show more, you got to let me know ahead of time. I'm going to put the screen on there.
Oh, go ahead.
There we go. It's on you so you can show some more awesome comic art. Why not? Let's have some fun here.
By Mike Ruth. Really great guy.
Cool, man.
Awesome.
Do you guys want to talk just some comic book stuff now that we've thoroughly shifted through all the drama?
Yes. Let's talk a little comic book stuff before we close. That'd be great. It's going to be too much more drama.
Books have you guys been reading lately?
Me?
Embarrassingly enough, I have read no comic books this week. It's all been ComicGate drama and dealing with Twitter bullshit.
Well, I got Blue Mama and I got Ironsides in the mail, and those are the ones I really jumped on.
I still need to check out Grant Morrison's Green Lantern.
Oh yeah, I'm halfway through that.
I read it.
That one's
Have you read
so far.
his Animal Man mystery? Grant Morrison's run of Animal Man?
I don't think so.
That is a really good run. You should really look into that. It's basically Animal Man in that run kind of becomes the lawful neutral equivalent of Deadpool, and it's awesome.
That's a cute one right there.
All right, I'll check it out. But what did you think of Green Lantern?
I liked it, but I don't know if I'm going to like it as much as the last run.
Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps?
Yeah. But I'm definitely going to give it a shot. It looks interesting. I enjoyed
it. He said he was going to take it back to Hal Jordan being a space cop and a lot of space adventures.
Yeah, they seem to be really pushing it in that more of a space cop thing on this one. Though even the last one was pretty much, dang, that's a good cover.
That's a great cover.
Done by R.B. White. He's the guy that does the covers for my book.
Who is that again?
His name is R.B. White. He's done work for Zenoscope and Action Lab.
That's good, man. I like that.
Yeah, her face is amazing.
Did you guys see the 30th anniversary of Hellblazer is coming up, and they released a special edition for it with Sting, the guy the musician who the look of Constantine was based on, did a forward for it.
How much is that going to cost?
I don't know, but I am so asking for it for Christmas.
See, have you read Dalton? Have you read The Witching Hour? Wonder Woman Justice in the Dark.
No, I have not. I honestly still need to catch up on some stuff that was launched just after Rebirth. I am so behind in modern stuff because you know me, I always tend to wait for the trade rather than getting the individual issues. So I guess I'm probably gonna do that and wait for the trade. I am going back through some of the Sandman Death spin-offs though, and those are really God how I miss Neil Gaiman in his prime.
I don't know how you're gonna feel about it after reading it.
That's the one where they stupidly retconned the Lords of Order yet again, right?
That was Justice League Dark.
Not to interrupt, but that Veronica's awesome.
That was before the Witching Hour.
Yeah, it is.
But the Witching Hour does change some of the things with magic in the DC universe some more.
God damn! Do they try to make a narrative out of it and say particular beings are behind it? I'm gonna flip shit if they make it anything other than a force that exists in the universe. God damn it. I hate when they do that. You shouldn't narrativize magic. It's a force and it should be impartial.
So far, I Green Lantern 1, as I said, was solid. I'm going to continue reading it. I know I don't care for the writer, but the Immortal Hulk has been solid. Number 8, I did a review of that. And I've been reading a lot of old G.I. Joe. I'm rereading the first series of that. And I think I'm 150-something issues in.
Were you posting that on Twitter?
I'm not a big fan of the Immortal Hulk. When I first read it, I got the impression it was kind of like a semi-benevolent version of Solomon Grundy, which I kind of didn't like.
It does have a lot of elements of that in it.
Hey, Frugal, were you posting that G.I. Joe stuff on Twitter? Was that you?
Yeah, I was. I have posted some covers and some pictures and some scenes in there. It's like, wow, this guy, Larry Hama, went complete SJW, but yet he wrote this stuff, Yeah.
I just started on the Transformer from Marvel's 1 through 40. So
nice.
I just found that first print editions online for reasonable. So I scooped them up, and those were actually some of the first books I read back when I was younger.
Very cool. I was blessed to get some really old ones to start my reading on. So,
hey, Frugal, have you been reading Hawkman?
I have not. I have not read a single issue of Hawkman.
It's really good.
Oh yes,
yeah. Current run of Hawkman is so good.
And what issue are they on now?
I think 5.
Okay, so it wouldn't take me long to play catch up. Okay.
Yeah, but it's a really good adventure book. It's like pure adventure.
It's like Thor meets Indiana Jones is, I believe, how Anglin put it.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm trying to read Thor, but I think I'm going to drop it.
It's very bland. It would be nice if it was bad, but it's just so bland.
And I'm not into the art style at all.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is the picture that Sam for me for the.
Here, I'll just a second. I'll click on it, and so you can show it because when that showed on there, hold on a second. Here we go. All right, there we go.
This is it. Yeah, I just kind of dig it. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, lots of people are telling me check out Hawkman. I'm gonna have to do that. Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I kind of dig that. I was like, okay, that is. I want this as the avatar now.
I was just about to suggest that maybe you should make that the new avatar for a while.
At least if I put it on a banner or something, because the plan was to get a booth at MegaCon at Orlando MegaCon next year to promote. But if I use Mr. Miracle, I'm sued.
Yeah.
Have you guys been reading Heroes in Crisis?
Yep.
Yeah, I've been reading that.
I'm really not liking it so far. With Harley Quinn taking out Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman.
And Wonder Woman, yeah.
Okay, evidently you're farther in it than I am because I didn't know about that.
So,
Sorry,
No, it's okay. It's all good because I didn't care for what it's going at so far. I mean, all killing Wally West and stuff. It just doesn't read genuine. The second I read that, it's like this isn't going to stick.
So would you say Heroes in Crisis is giving you a crisis of faith? But I'm ching.
I mean,
That
it really
sounds like a joke I'd make.
Wally West, like all the fans wanted, and then you don't have him in the main Flash book. You have him in Titans, which is okay, I guess. But then you have this whole big Flash war between him and Barry, and then you send him off to the Sanctuary, and then you kill him. Like, what the hell?
Well, and the whole thing with the Sanctuary, it just doesn't seem to hold. I mean, it just seems like a dumb idea. Like Batman's going to sit there and talk about his feelings. Come on, this is freaking Batman. Instead of talking about his feelings, he's going to go out in the street and punch somebody in the face, and break some bones. I just don't get it.
It makes no sense why characters like Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn are there. Like, it's supposed to be a place for heroes. They're not heroes at all. Also, I am so tired of Harley Quinn. She is just in everything, and I'm so sick of seeing her face.
It wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't modern Harley Quinn. I think if it was classic, like animated series era Harley Quinn, it wouldn't be nearly as bad. But
bringing Harley Quinn, we got the covers getting shown now.
Yeah, one thing I dislike about modern Harley Quinn is they made her more goofy instead of insane. She should be insane.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Hey, Captain, I got to run. Thanks for having me on, man.
For coming. We'll probably wrap it up in a few minutes, too. But,
yep.
But thank you so much.
If people want to check out Guardians of Erloth right now on Indiegogo, I appreciate it.
It looks like a good book.
Yeah, please do. I had a chance to have a look at the whole Indiegogo campaign. It's an awesome fantasy book. It's great art. You know what, Shale? I mean, you really need to get that book up there. Guys, last time we checked his campaign, he was at $280, okay? This man deserves so much more than that. Go over there and check him out.
I just put the link in again in the chats, so definitely give that a hit.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in.
Yep. Take care.
Guys, I think we'll probably wrap it up at 10 o'clock. Okay, does that sound good? Because we got to get Angleteen some time to take a break, and we've been doing a couple hours. You're going to be on in, what, 2 more hours you're going on again?
Yeah, it's midnight. I feel so bad. I told Rob, yeah, I'll show up on your thing, and I'm just not up for it.
That's Niobe getting pony eyes.
Walk it off, old man.
Not a riot.
Yeah. I always tell my friends I could keep up with you today, but tomorrow you're gonna wake up sunshine and roses, and I'm gonna be hurting all over. That's the big difference. You have the energy while you're doing it, but in the morning it's like, oh, why did I do that?
Well, ain't that how it works?
Yep.
I moved a big cast iron pellet burner the other day, pushed it in and out to tear out a fan blower and put it back, and I felt really manly that I did it all by myself, knowing that the thing probably weighs like 900 pounds. Then the next day I was reminded of how old I am.
Yep, that's the way it works. I joke about the fact that I once threw my back out pointing because literally I twisted wrong. That's what happened. But this lady, when I worked at Universal Studios, I was walking to get to work, and she stops me, and I just go, "It's over." And I twisted just the wrong way, and I was like, "Oh, damn it! I'm stuck in this position now."
Yeah, those impingements are a bitch when that happens.
Yeah, suck, but it beats the alternative.
That's right. Could be dead.
Oh, by the way, say again.
I'm in the 40s.
How old he was.
I'm 48.
I still got you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a year older than you.
Just a year.
Well,
that's cool. That just means that just means that you had a good comic book childhood the way I did.
It does exactly that.
I tell the kids my childhood was better than yours. What movies are you celebrating now? Terminator, Ghostbusters, all the shit we grew up with.
Yeah, and you're right.
Yeah, but as a result, our childhoods were good too because you guys went and did all the work. So now we have those as cultural touchstones, and we don't need to seek them out like you did.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for kids now because the quality of movies and TV have just gone downhill.
Just even cartoons. Let's not even get into other media. Just even cartoons have really gone downhill because, like, when we were kids, we had the DC animated universe and Avatar: The Last fucking Airbender and like Dexter's Lab and Courage the Cowardly Dog and shit. What do they have now? Best thing, probably Steven Universe.
You guys don't even know good cartoons.
Yeah,
we had Punky Brewster. We had Happy Days in Outer Space. We had the Snorks. We had there were just so many.
Believe me, Anglantine, I had Boomerang, so I know most of those. But I gotta tell you,
I had Star Blazers, you guys.
There was
Star Blazers.
I used to watch a lot of the older shows, like I used to watch The Adventures of Johnny Quest.
Yeah, I loved Johnny Quest.
Yes.
Dang.
Johnny Quest and Speed Racer was big. Battle Beyond the Stars.
Yeah.
I used to stay up late at night and sneak downstairs to watch TV to watch Speed Racer, and then my dad caught me.
Hong Kong foodie.
Why would you have a problem with Speed Racer? Speed Racer was awesome.
Speaking of Hong Kong foodie, did you guys see they're gonna make a Hong Kong foodie movie?
They've been talking about that for a decade, dude. So I'll believe it. I'll believe it's gonna get made when it's made.
Voltron was also something I used to watch. I don't know if you guys remember Voltron.
We had Fat Albert back when Cosby was doing a kids show while he was drugging women.
Hey.
Think about that. He was teaching kids morals while he was drugging women.
He was doing that through like the Cosby Show during the 80s.
Wasn't that
Bill Cosby's the baddest ass fucker on the planet because he was like, "Hey kids, here's a great moral lesson for you. Here, just give her this tea."
Well, you know what it is. He had all the kids watching the Fat Albert cartoon while he was banging their moms.
I'm willing to bet that most like hosts of kid shows like that, the ones that are really preachy and moralizing, do that transgressive shit behind the scenes.
Oh, actually, Sherry Lewis was famous for ordering lamb chops whenever she would go into a restaurant just to see the reaction people would give.
Nice covers.
Oh, by the way, Sherry Lewis did a kid show called Lamb Chop. She had a puppet named Lamb Chop. That's it. Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember that show.
My wife even has a stuffed lamb chop.
Oh, this used to get me all the time when I was a kid. It was when I was real young. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I used to love that show.
Yep.
Yeah, but my wife still has a stuffed animal of that lamb chop.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I liked it. I liked that she had a sense of humor like that. Just go in and watch people's eyes bulge because she ordered lamb chops. That is cool.
I wonder if it's a similar reaction to if Anthony Hopkins goes into a place and orders lamb chops.
I don't know if it was local or not, but we had Captain Kangaroo. Hey, good morning. Hello, how do you do?
I've definitely heard of that, but I've never seen it.
I have that book.
It's a great book.
I also used to watch Spider-Man and the Amazing Friends.
One of my favorite cartoons of all time is Spider-Man.
I love that show so much.
It's because of that cartoon I got into the X-Men.
Really?
Yep. Because I saw Iceman and he was part of the X-Men. They brought in the X-Men in one of the episodes. And I'm like, then I saw an X-Men book, on the spinner rack. I'm like, boom, sold. And speaking of X-Men, the first Phoenix.
Ah.
I used to have this run. I sold it to go live in Thailand.
The beginning of the only Jean Grey story.
You know what? I got a book for free. The comic book shop that I go to, Coliseum of Comics, has this thing where if you buy a certain amount of new books, you get back issues. And I ended up getting about $25-30 worth of back issues. And I ended up picking up Shazam #1 from the 1970s for $20. So I basically got it. I got it for free.
Dang.
Yeah. I just checked eBay. Cha-ching.
Yeah.
You want to hear about good This is a good and tragic story. One day I was at my local flea market, and a guy had a long box full of comics. I was flipping through it, and I saw Tomb of Dracula, the first appearance of Blade.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have enough money to buy it. So, over the week, it was summertime, so I mowed some lawns, saved up some money. And when I went back next week to buy it, it was gone.
Dude. This is one of those cases where you take advantage of the fact that it's a flea market and you haggle the shit out of it.
No, the book was gone.
No, I know, but in future, if that ever happens, remember, if it's a flea market, haggling is entirely permissible.
Oh, yeah, it's expected.
Or you could use your size and say, I'm going to take this as payment for me not beating the teetotal hell out of you.
Can't really do that. They're like armed security guards there. It's a big flea market.
I think I told my tragic tale on one episode of Extreme Movie Show, and that is I had a Song of the South poster, an actual movie poster from one of the theaters I worked at. And I left a whole box of my movie posters at my parents' house while we moved, and they put it out for a garage sale and sold all my Disney movie posters from the 1960s, 70s, and 80s for $1 each. Song of the freaking South. The last time it was ever in the theaters, and it sold for $1.
Well, guys, we've been at this for 2 hours. You want to hang it up and call it a night?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, because these guys got Engleton might need to take a nap.
I'm not that old. Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you again for joining me. I know this was spur of the moment too. I found this debate was going to happen. I said, hey, why don't we get some people together? We're just going to talk and make a nice, friendly conversation, some connections. And all these people just joined in, and you all hopped in here in the chat. You're all watching, and that's an awesome thing. So I really appreciate that. You guys want to say anything before you leave?
Subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, subscribe to his channel.
Go ahead and check my book.
Check out his
little girl Lethal on Indiegogo. Just have a look at it, see if it pops your weasel. You know what I'm saying?
Check out his book, but definitely 100% go to Feisty Fans GoFundMe and toss in $1.
Yeah, absolutely.
Help out Feisty Fan.
Not at the Feisty GoFundMe if you can. She could really use the help.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's another one of those women of ComicGate that you are not allowed to criticize ever, because
she'll tear you a new one.
Oh my lord, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and subscribe to my channel and keep an eye out for my crowdfunding campaign coming out probably about a month's time.
All right. Keep a look. Anybody else? No.
The next video I'm making will be a review of the first episode of the new Chilling Adventures of Sabrina show, if anyone's interested in seeing me tear into that one.
Oh, God. Did you see the article I posted?
Yes. It's beautiful.
All right, and to close it up, I guess I'm going to shill as well. I have a Patreon. I'll put that link in eventually, too, that you can join as little as $1 a month. Also, I have a Redbubble account, so CaptainFrugal.Redbubble, where you can get shirts, mugs. You can even have a pillow so you can sleep with Captain Frugal. And
I've already done that.
Okay.
Captain Frugal waifu pillow.
Yeah, that's right. And there's a clock, too, so you can see it last the whole 2 minutes. So, all right, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us and commenting in the comments. And until next time, keep it frugal.